sit down and read a book. Open it up and take a look. Fairy tales and fantasies. Close your eyes and believe. Once upon a queen, once upon a queen, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. Once upon a queen.
Well, hello friends. Come on in nice and close. Welcome to Once Upon a Queen story time. My name is Summer Orlando, but you can call me Miss Summer. Welcome to my kingdom. Now, how many of you like to play pretend? That's wonderful. Did you know that anyone can be a princess? And a prince, of course, as well. Well, we're going to read all about one of my favorite princesses today. Do you know who I might be talking about? What favorite princess? That's right, Snow White. Well, we're going to read Snow White's story, Beauties in Bloom, today. Now, I need your help with starting off the story. Now, every story starts off the same way. On the count of 3, can I have your help? Wonderful. So on the count of 3, we're going to say, once upon a time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Once upon a time. Great. Once upon a time, it was a lovely spring morning, exclaimed Snow White with a smile. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and the sweet smell of flowers filled the air. It's a perfect day for a walk in the woods, Snow White told her forest friends. Today, they headed off to enjoy the many sights and scents of spring. Before long, Snow White and her friends came upon a field of tulips swaying in the breeze. Oh, I must pick just a few, the young princess said as she stopped to admire the flowers. When her basket was filled with flowers, Snow White continued into the woods. Suddenly, she heard a sound. Quack, quack, quack. Why, it's a mother duck and her little ducklings, said Snow White. Snow White giggled as she watched the baby ducks drink and splash in a flowing stream. The dwarfs will certainly be thirsty when they return home from work, she said. Perhaps I should bring them some cool water. When her pitcher was full, Snow White stood up. She spotted a perfect gooseberry bush across the stream. These berries look so ripe and sweet, said the pleased princess, as she began to pick them. Oh dear, my basket is filled to the brim, said Snow White. It's time to head back to the cottage. As she walked home, Snow White smiled. What's the perfect way to end this perfect spring day, she wondered. When the dwarfs came home from work that afternoon, they found a wonderful surprise. A picnic! Snow White and her friends shared stories about their day over a freshly baked gooseberry pie. It was the perfect end to a lovely spring day. Do you see all the dwarfs? Now, do we remember how many dwarfs that Snow White was friends with? Let's see if we can count them together, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you know the names of all the 7 dwarfs? Do you like to go on picnics? Well, what kind of things do you like to have at your picnics? I like sandwiches and cookies, maybe a little cake, and of course Snow White loves her gooseberry pie. Do you have a favorite kind of pie? I like apple. Put down your favorite flavor of pie down below in the comments below. I'd love to read what your favorite pie is. That was a wonderful story, wasn't it? We're going to read another one, okay? Now this one is called 2 Hearts. Now, do you remember how we start each story? On the count of 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. Once upon a time, Snow White decided to visit her friends, the 7 dwarfs. I'll be back soon, dear Snow White said, as she leaned down to kiss the prince. Snow White couldn't believe how much her life had changed. The evil queen was gone and she was married to her prince. In fact, they would celebrate their first anniversary the next day. Lovely. "Well, hello," Snow White cried, the dwarfs, when she arrived at the cottage. "Oh, I've missed you so," said Snow White. "Why don't I make you some supper?" As the dwarfs ate their meal, Snow White asked for their help. "The prince and I will celebrate our first anniversary tomorrow, and I want to make dinner for him here. Also, the prince is very precious to me, and I want to give him something precious to tell him so." "Like a diamond?" asked Doc. "Yes," Snow White replied. "Don't you worry, Snow White," said Doc. "I'll take care of it myself." "Oh, thank you so much," she said. Grumpy wanted to be the one to find the perfect diamond for Snow White, but he overslept the next morning, and the other dwarfs had already left. "Dag nabbit," grumbled Grumpy. He rushed out the door and ran right into the prince. "Well, hello, Grumpy," said the prince. "I'm glad to find you at home. I have a favor to ask." "Snow White and I will be celebrating our first anniversary together," said the prince. "Can you help me find a perfect diamond for her?" "I'll find the most beautiful, most sparkling, most dazzling diamond in the whole mine," Grumpy said proudly. Deep in the mine, Doc soon found his perfect diamond, and he hurried off to tell the other dwarves. Grumpy was also deep in the mine, and he found the same beautiful diamond. He raced off to get a pickaxe. Meanwhile, Dopey wandered through the mine alone, looking for the perfect diamond for Snow White. And there it was. It was the diamond Doc and Grumpy had chosen. Carefully, Dopey dislodged the diamond with his pickaxe and then began tapping it with a chisel. Do you see Dopey trying to get the diamond? Doc, Grumpy, and the other dwarves hurried back to see the perfect diamond. When they got there, they saw Dopey chipping away at it. "Dopey!" they shouted. Dopey looked up. His pickaxe slipped and hit the diamond, and the jewel broke into 2 pieces. "That was the perfect diamond I found," said Doc. "I was going to give it to Snow White for the prince." "You mean that was the perfect diamond I found," said Grumpy. "I was going to give it to the prince for Snow White. Now what will we do?" Doc sighed. "We'll just have to explain." Grumpy and Doc each put 1/2 of the diamond in a bag. Dopey found some vines to tie the bag shut. At the 7 dwarfs' cottage, Snow White had just set the table for 2. She couldn't wait for the dwarfs to return with her gift for the prince. The prince ate his home-cooked meal slowly, enjoying every bite, but he couldn't wait to give Snow White her gift. And as we see, Snow White's making another gooseberry pie. Those must be her favorite. Snow White and the prince were just finishing their pie when the dwarfs returned. Snow White smiled at Doc. The prince smiled at Grumpy. Then Doc slowly set his bag in front of Snow White, while Grumpy gave his to the prince. Snow White and the prince looked at each other in surprise. "This is my present for you," said Snow White as she touched her bag. The prince picked up his bag. "We must think alike," he said. "This is for you." "Oh, darling," said Snow White, opening the bag. "How unusual!" She held up the diamond half. "Yes," said the prince, disappointed. "Unusual." Snow White handed the prince her bag. When he pulled out his broken diamond, she almost cried. The prince squeezed Snow White's hand. "It's beautiful, my dear, because it's from you." Suddenly, Dopey hurried to the table and pointed to the diamonds. "I'm sorry, Dopey," said the prince. "We don't understand." Dopey picked up the 2 diamond halves, and as the prince and Snow White watched, he joined the 2 pieces to form one perfect heart. Snow White and the prince nodded at Dopey and smiled. "Happy anniversary, Snow White," the prince said to each other. "Do you see? The 2 diamonds make a heart." Dopey saved the day. Later that night, the prince and Snow White danced beneath the twinkling stars and beside their heart-shaped diamond. It was a wonderful anniversary, and they all lived happily ever after. You know, you can pretend that you have diamonds too, and we can make them hearts. Can you go like this? And if you go like this, it makes a heart. Can you do that too? Wonderful. Well, I hope you enjoyed those stories, friends, and I hope you'll join me for story time once more very, very soon. Thank you for visiting my kingdom. Goodbye.
Time to sit down and read a book. Open it up and take a look. Fairy tales and fantasies. Close your eyes and believe. Once upon a queen Once upon a queen, da 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 da. Once upon a queen. Summer, Orlando, will read something magical. It's time to show your pride. Open up a book and see what's inside. Come on, sing it with me. Time to sit down and read a book. Open it up and take a look. Fairy tales and fantasies. Close your eyes and believe. Once upon a queen, once upon a queen, da 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 da. Once upon a queen.
Hello friends, thank you so much for watching Once Upon a Queen. I'm Summer Orlando, and if you enjoyed this video today, please hit the subscribe button below and also click that bell icon to be notified when the next story time is. I hope to see you soon. Goodbye friends.